Look alive, ladies and gentlemen. Football is back, and we are not even going to hide the fact that I am a 49ers fan. So I get to you can see the flag behind me. Well, thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for listening to the show. Like, subscribe, download, all that stuff. Leave a review. We have tons of football stuff to talk about. It is a late night edition of the Millie Goes podcast, solo podcast for tonight. Yes, I am a 49ers fan. So the 49ers have traded out of the first round. J-Bod's a Bills fan. They traded out of the first round. So guess what? We get to fire shots from the gallery because nobody can judge what we did, except the Buffalo Bills have got to stop trading with their biggest rivals, the Texans, who have their number, the Patriots, who are in their division, who just took their division from them. So I don't know what the Bills are doing. But the 49ers traded with the Dolphins and then traded out with the Jets. So the 49ers are actually against the Bills. So how about that in show rivalry? Bills versus Niners. How about it? Okay. Basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to run through the draft. I've got my notebook like I always do whenever we watch football stuff. I write down my notes as always. And we're going to, for those of you who didn't see every second or minute of the draft, unlike me, who I watched every second and every minute of it, I have to say this first, that I hated the new format, that everybody wanted to be like, this is going to be great. They shortened the draft picks. They don't care. They don't care. All they cared about was their production. The picks were in. We weren't getting the picks whenever we wanted the picks as fans. They just held the picks and released them whenever they wanted. That's what ESPN was doing. That's what I try to tell everybody. I try to tell you that it didn't matter if it was short or not. They had a schedule they were trying to stay with. I mean, you didn't get hardly any shots of the crowd. Where are the super fans? Like, where's all the, come on. It was way too rushed. The production wasn't ready. It's exactly what I said it would be. It was all about ESPN and all about their personalities. Nobody was ready for how fast it was going to go. We didn't get to enjoy any of it. It felt like one pick after the other. That was annoying. I didn't like that. I want to bask in the glory of the NFL draft. I don't want to sit there and have to rush through the picks. I didn't like it. I knew exactly what it was going to be like. It was annoying. Let me marinate on these picks. I need more than like 2 seconds to get it. But again, they just, yeah, exactly. Commercials at the wazoo. Again, it was all scheduled. It's never what you thought it was going to be. It's never what you thought it was going to be. It was exactly what they wanted. It was, we're going to convince everybody that this is for the betterment. We're going to shorten the rounds. But guess what? We hold all the power and all the keys. We will release the picks whenever we want to based off of our media, contractual obligations for our advertisers, so on and so forth, and whatever our talent wants to say. I had to get that off my chest because I knew it was going to happen. And it's exactly what happened. Secondly, before the draft even started, hilarious of the Pittsburgh fans chanting "F you Flyers." Hockey town, not a good playoff city because we know that. We saw that. But the Penguins / Steelers fans, good for you for chanting F the Flyers, even though you're getting your doors blown off right now. Exactly, BMO. BMO said he paused it for 25 minutes so you can fast forward through most of the commercials. Have better view. Exactly. It felt off. It felt rushed. It's exactly what I thought it would be. They're going to convince everybody they're doing it for the fan, and really, they're so arrogant. ESPN is in the NFL that they said you're going to work on our terms. NFL. That's what ESPN did. We have all the we hold all the rights to everything now. We will release the picks, and you will dance to our tune. It was annoying. We should have never allowed them to shorten the draft because then they got to control. They got to have the keys. Arvell Reese's jacket was absolutely electric before. He did a little photo shoot. He's sponsored by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. That's the kind of stuff we need in sports. It was like Sam Ryder being sponsored by Ryder, like rental equipment or something in golf. It was spectacular. Ben Roethlisberger and all the former Steelers out there in their jumpsuits. You had the Sticks tribute, all that stuff. Did not know that thing in between the bridge was a video screen. Still don't get the colors of the NFL draft font. Don't get it. All right, let's get to it. 5 minutes in. First of all, a couple of questions as we go through this. I don't know what the hell the Rams are doing, for one. I don't understand teams that trade within their division. And the Jets seemingly win most of the drafts every year, and yet have not made the playoffs, the longest drought in sports history. Not sports history, but the current in the 4 major sports. They have the longest drought of playoffs. So, what's up, Zilla boy? We're gonna go over some stuff. I got some draft grades that we're gonna top out. I've got another page that I've created a graphic. I hope it's right. We'll see, and we'll just give out some grades as we go through this. At the very end, number 1, no surprise, the Raiders. Fernando Mendoza. That's kind of a Raiders name, right? That sounds like somebody who discovered a colony years ago. Um, but Mendoza, I have to say, they panned to his viewing party, and it looked like they were setting up for a wedding photo shoot. Like tall people in the middle, perfectly tapered to the sides. It looked like a reverse offensive line, basically. Normally the center's a little shorter and the tackles and the guards taper upward. He had a reverse offensive line, so that's gonna my ability, that's gonna cause some doubt for me of his ability. He should have set him up like football players, short people in the middle for the line, and then taper it outwards like your tackles. Fernando Mendoza, that's gonna kind of get your grade here in a minute, of that draft pick. But that was a no-brainer. I mean, he won the Heisman, he won the national championship. He's only like, and then got drafted number 1 overall, I think, like Joe Burrow, and there's like 2 other people that have done that too. So everybody knew what was going on there. Raiders get their guy. Kirk Cousins is there. I think we all know that. Um, I didn't. The thing about Mendoza, how good of a dude he is, like he didn't wait for anybody to hug him. Like a lot of times, those people get drafted, and these guys get drafted, and their family kind of runs up to them. He was initiating the hugs. Leader mentality. That's a check in the right spot. Check in the wrong spot because you tapered your offensive line, or you tapered your family like a wedding shoot and not a football offensive line. So, we got to pay attention to that. We got to know how much football is on your brain. Okay, that's the number 1 pick. Congrats to him. We're going the wrong way. Here we go. What just happened? Did I click on that post? Okay, yeah, I did. I didn't want to do that. All right. And here's all the memes. You got the interviews. Come to the Jets, the New York Jets. They get David Bailey, sought after pass rusher, absolute freak, for Texas Tech. That's a pretty good pick. Pretty good pick. Whenever I didn't see, well, Mendoza couldn't sign the trading card, but this guy feels a need for them. Aaron Glenn loves defense, great player, should be a good pro. Sweet outfit by him. Had the tuxedo with the bow tie and the glasses. He had to sign his trading card. I thought that was weird. Is that the first time they've ever done that? Sign the trading card? I don't know, but that's the first pick of many for the Jets in the first round. So, but good pick by the Jets there. Got to be happy if you're a Jets, Jets. A lot of counters in this draft, though, by the other teams in the AFC. So, David Bailey, very good. The signing of the Topps card was kind of weird for me. So, shout out David Bailey, shout out the Jets. Coming up to pick number 3. This was one that people were kind of flummoxed by, and I think Jeremiah Love, the Cardinals select Jeremiah Love, even though they have Tyler Algier, they have James Conner, they have like 7 running backs on their roster, and yet they take Jeremiah Love, who has, I think there was only like 1 or 2 people that had more touchdowns at 20+ yards than Jeremiah Love in college. It was like Saquon Barkley, and I think he was ahead of CMC and some other people, but yeah, Jeremiah Love, pick 3rd to the Cardinals. People were like, dude, that's a great point, BMO. They don't have to sign their name in cursive anymore. Just write it out in print. I was wondering why they were looking like they were taking so long to write their names. And I was like, wow, they're really taking time to sign their name. And I forgot they probably don't know how to write in cursive. That's a great point. Wow. But Jeremiah Love, people are going to be confused, but it's the Cardinals, dude. What are they? I mean, you try to get as many talented people. They got Marvin Harrison Jr., they got Trey McBride. Now they have Jeremiah Love. I mean, without a quarterback, they're not going anywhere anyway. So you might as well stack all these players. Now, hey, guess what? I heard the next quarterback class, that's the one that's going to have all the talent, guys and gals. So the Cardinals just took the most electric player available, which was Jeremiah Love, and everybody's like, I can't. Well, they're not going to win in that division now. I mean, come on. You got the 49ers loaded. You got the Seahawks loaded, who just won the Super Bowl. You got the Rams, who's played the NFC Championship. I mean, those 3 teams had like 50 wins between the 3 of them. The Cardinals aren't doing diddly poo. So if you think they needed to take Arvell Reese or something, get out of here. Now they've got Marvin Harrison Jr. Now they've got Trey McBride. Now they've got Jeremiah Love. They start building the offensive line, snag a quarterback sometime soon, and then boom, they're off to the races while everybody else is coming on the downfall for the NFC West. So there you go. Jeremiah Love to number 3. Highest paid running back in the league right now, $50 million. So higher than Saquon. Pick 4, Carnell Tate. Shocker. One of the first Buckeyes taken off the board. I think there was like 3 or 4 Buckeyes taken in the first 7 picks, some sort of record. Big Ten had 10 picks in the first round. Carnell Tate, I mean, I don't think people had him graded as a number 1 wide receiver. Cam Ward must have called and told them, hey, I want Carnell Tate. You could call him the Tennessee Titans. I think that's what we have to do. So Carnell Tate, people are a little bit confused, but they probably thought they were going to get Jeremiah Love. So they thought the Cardinals might have traded out of there, but they take Tate. So after that, we got number 5. Pick number 5 goes to the New York Giants, and they take Arvell Reese, the second Ohio State guy in a row. This dude is an absolute specimen. His hair looked phenomenal. He's a freak show, and I guess they're running a 3-4 defense. That is, I mean, you got Kayvon Thibodeaux, you got Burns, you've got who's the dude from the Penn State? Good gracious, what's his name? Man, I can't remember what's his name? The dude from Penn State. Help me out, BMO. The dude they drafted last year. What's his name? I can't remember his dad blame name. Abdul Carter. That's what it was. Abdul Carter. Jeez Louise. Football brain, guys. Holy smokes. They got Abdul Carter, Thibodeaux. There you go. Thank you, BMO. Abdul Carter, Thibodeaux, Brian Burns. I mean, they've got linebackers and edge players out the wazoo for that 3-4. That is going to be a nasty defense. And plus they got Jackson Dart, they got Malik Neighbors, they got Scatterboo. I mean, the Giants, they get their players back. Sneaky NFC East favorite. I think them and the Bengals, sneaky playoff teams that didn't make it. I'm just saying it right now, but that dude's a freak show. Pick number 6. Shout out to the Giants, the people who announced the Giants pick 2. That was electric. The Chiefs traded from the Browns. The Browns traded back. Chiefs trade up. They select the cornerback because, they gave away their cornerback to the Rams for a first rounder, I believe. So, yes. Wait a minute. Well, anyways, they switched up. Was it McDuffie? They traded the Chiefs traded McDuffie to the Rams for a first rounder, and I think the Rams had 3 first rounders to begin with. But they take Mansour Delane to get a cornerback because they just lost their best cornerback. So they feel a need there. The Chiefs traded the 6th pick to the Browns for the 9th overall pick, 74th, and 148th overall pick. So they got 3 picks and then traded back. So did the Browns did. Number 7, Sonny Styles, a 3rd Ohio State player. Good pick for the Commanders here. Their defense was really old. They're one of the oldest teams in the league. They pick up number 7, Sonny Styles. That was 3 picks in the top 7. Reese, Tate, and Styles. Absolutely ridiculous. That Ohio State. Why didn't they win the national championship? Who knows? So Arvell Reese is going to be fun to watch. It's just so crazy watching these guys get picked because you're like, dude, these are freak shows. They're absolutely freak shows. Number 8, Jordan Tyson to the Saints. And the Saints now have Travis Etienne. The Saints have Chris Olave. They still have Taysom Hill. Don't forget. They still have Juwan Jennings, or not Juwan Jennings, Juwan Johnson, the tight end. Tyler Shuck. Kellen Moore's loading up for that offense. This guy annoyed me because apparently he missed a third of his games because of hamstring. He's blown out both of his hamstrings. To that guy, I would say, check Christian Watson, okay? Christian Watson spent an entire year and a boatload of money to get a study done by the NFL, millions of dollars, to tell him that his hamstring was smaller than the other one. What does that mean, Jordan Tyson? Let me give you some advice. Don't run around and get suction cups on your legs and dry needling and massage guns. Jordan Tyson, load your freaking hamstrings right now. Do it right now, or you're going to be battling hamstring tightness for the rest of this year. Ask Christian Watson. Don't do it. And if your hamstrings are weaker, guess what's at risk, buddy? I'm not even going to put it into the ether, but it involves your knee. Okay? If you have take it from somebody who does this for a living, strengthen your hamstrings right now. Do not walk around the facility getting useless massages and Theraguns and whatever to your hamstrings because it feels tight. Go strengthen your hamstrings. I'm telling you right now, dude. But anyways, that offense could be fun for them, for the Saints. Sneaky in the NFC South too, because remember the Panthers and the Bucks were having a pillow fight to see who'd win it. Shout out though, the Panthers, the weapon, Sam Martin. Well, Fernando Mendoza knows how to sign his name in cursive. There you go. The Browns, with their pick they got from the Chiefs, draft the first offensive lineman, Spencer Fano, the tackle out of Utah. There you go. Protect whoever's going to be the quarterback. Deshaun Watson with his GoPro, or Shedeur Sanders with his GoPro, or Dylan Gabriel, or whoever they want to fly in. Shout out to the Browns. Here comes the offensive line run. The Giants are back in at 10. Where they got this from somebody. From Cincinnati. That's right. That was the Dexter Lawrence trade, right? The Cincinnati traded their pick to the Giants for Dexter Lawrence. And Francis Maigoa, tackle from their offensive line in Miami, was enormous. Remember, they all won the national. I'm not a fan of the offensive lineman wearing these little face masks. Give me the bull ring offensive lineman back. But that dude's a freak show. We'll give the grades out here in a minute. So, Giants, Arvell Reese, and then an offensive tackle to help prevent Jackson Dart from trying to run over everybody. So, mammoth of a man. And then we had another trade. The trade, the Cowboys traded with the Dolphins down to get the 11th pick, and the Dolphins took the 12th picks, and the Cowboys then selected Caleb Downs. And cover your ears, because I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm a 49ers fan. Tex and Butch P from our show are Cowboys fans. This was a good pick. Caleb Downs is really good, but you didn't hear me say that. But the Cowboys screwed it up later, so don't worry. So they needed defense. Their defense was atrocious. This guy is an absolute leader, without a doubt. He's a freaking ball hawk. He's all over the field. Another Ohio State guy. Cowboys taking Caleb Downs. Again, they traded the 11th, or they got the 11th pick, and then they traded Miami the 12th, 177th, 180th pick. So Miami comes by, picks Caden Proctor, offensive tackle for Alabama, who Nick Saban said he's not much of a self-starter, but he's the guy who is running motions and catching passes for Alabama and freak athlete. But we'll see what he does in Miami as they try to fix pretty much everything. There you go. I don't, this pick number 13. I don't know. I mean, the last time, so the pick number 13 comes around, the Rams, like everybody's thinking, hey, they're going to take an offensive tackle, or they're going to take an offensive lineman. They're going to take a wide receiver. Mekhi Lemon sitting there. You've got some other players of high level talent. And the pick comes in and it's Ty Simpson. And it's like, they already have two Georgia quarterbacks. And now they have an Alabama quarterback, a guy who just won the MVP, Matt Stafford, who apparently they called this guy right here, Ty Simpson's played 15 games. The last time he played in California, he got blown out 38-3 in the Rose Bowl through Indiana. So hell yeah, but that's exactly, as a Niners fan, that's what I want. Take another quarterback later in the, pick up Carson Beck too while you're at it. Hell, who cares? Take them all. But holy smokes, I don't know what they were doing. I mean, they're in win now mode too. Like they're coming off an NFC Championship loss. Like they could have used a pick to. I mean, I guess they got McDuffie, and I don't know what else they're hoping Devontae Adams signs for another year. But geez Louise, I thought the Rams were going to trade for Burrow. But anyways, that was weird. The Ravens at 14 take Viga Ione, the guard from Penn State, first guard off the board. There was a highlight of this dude motioning across, and he lit somebody up from UCLA. He is the perfect Baltimore Raven. Like they always have like a Haloti Ngata or some sort of big, monstrous dude, interior lineman, whether it's defense or offense. And that's That's a tone setting pick for the new coach for mentor tone setting. And I think Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry are gonna like that too. So 14, uh, they get a guard. Uh, 15. Hey, 15, Ruben Bain. Everybody's talking about his arms. There's all the gifts in the you know, and the Cleveland Browns, I forgot. They picked a right tackle to play left tackle. That's what they did. And Mygoa or whatever his name is, his suit was absolute fire. Um, yeah, I forgot that he was doing his American Samoan culture, and that suit was legit. Tampa Bay comes up. They pick Ruben Bain, who fell. Everybody's talking about his arms. There's T-Rex gifts going all around the internet, so on and so forth. I mean, obviously, you can say Tampa Bain, all that stuff, but he looked mad whenever he got picked. Like whenever they picked him, he was pretty mad. So that's a good sign if you're a Tampa Bay fan. But if Baker Mayfield gets hurt, then they'll just fall off a cliff again because that's what happens when Baker Mayfield gets hurt. So we'll see what Ruben Bain does, but he seems angry. He seems very angry. That's a good sign. Good pick for I like that pick. That's a good pick. Todd Bowles, you know. We come up to pick 16. The Jets are at it again. Remember they took Bailey. They come back. They get Kenyon Sadiq, who is by far like an action figure. He's like a freaking superhero. This dude's flying all over the field. Absolute freak show. The tight end out of Oregon. So they've now got David Bailey and Kenyon. I mean, the Jets at this point, I sent out a tweet. I was like, the Jets have won the draft. So, there's not really much to say about him other than this guy, like Geno Smith's going to be throwing him the football. So that's like Geno Smith. I was looking up numbers. He can throw to the tight end, but doesn't really. So we'll see how that goes. So you have the Jets that have, remember the Jets did this a couple years ago where they had Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and Jermaine Johnson, not Jermaine John, Jaden Phillip. No, it was Jermaine Johnson, wasn't it? Yeah. They draft well. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But they got Sadiq. The Lions, because they just screwed Frank Ragnow, they take the dude from Clemson, the tackle, Blake Miller, with the 17th pick. He got his hair cut. I don't know how I feel about that, but he had a nice watch party too. So the offensive linemen were flying off the board at this point. At this point, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the 5th offensive lineman we've had in the last 6 or 7 picks at that point. Then the Minnesota Vikings come up and they pick this monster out of Florida, Caleb Banks, who has foot problems apparently, and they used tape from his 2024 season. He's like 6'6", 350 pounds. He's a freak show. But I think the Vikings, like, their stadium name is US Bank Stadium, and they, maybe they did too much of a social media draft here where they picked the guy because of his last name, Caleb Banks. So supposedly he's really raw. If he hasn't figured it out yet, that's always scary that you want to hear. The last guy that they picked in the first round out of Florida, Anthony Richardson, hadn't figured it all out yet. That didn't work out too well. So they needed help on the interior line, and they got it. And then here comes the Carolina Panthers, another offensive lineman, Monroe Freeling, huge dude out of Georgia. Good pick for them. Protect your guy, Bryce Young. NFC South champs. So Monroe Freeling to the Panthers. There you go. And then the Cowboys come up again. They trade their pick to the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay? The Cowboys come up here and they trade their 20th and their 218th in the 7th round to the Eagles for the 23rd pick, 114th and 137th, 2 4th rounders. I just don't. And then they let the Eagles, they basically hand the Eagles the replacement to A.J. Brown. What are you doing, Cowboys? Why would you do that? Jerry, the Eagles have been running this, the first back-to-back division champion in years, and you just hand them a pick so they can go get a receiver to replace A.J. Brown? What are you doing? I think it's hilarious. I hate both of these teams. I'm not going to take my 49ers hat off. I hate both these teams. Let's be honest. But I'm still looking at that like, if you're a Cowboys fan, you've got to be furious. Why would you trade with the Eagles? Why would you trade in division? It just I don't understand that. I don't get it. I mean, they could have who was left on the like, okay, so the Cowboys traded, they traded back. They could have taken Akeem Mesidor. He was a freak show out of Miami. Him and Ruben Bain were wreaking havoc on everything. That's probably who they wanted. But instead, they fell behind the Chargers, who took Akeem Mesidor in a couple of picks. So I don't know. There was no need to. I don't know. I feel like the Cowboys lost that trade because they lost Akeem Mesidor. I think they were trading up, or they gave, they didn't. They knew that they didn't need a wide receiver, but I don't know. I just that was dumb in my opinion. So Mekhi Lemon to the Eagles to replace AJ Brown. They're going to have a smaller receiver room now without AJ Brown, a slimmer receiver room. I'm not saying anything against Malachi Lemon. He was a good receiver, but he's not the size and stature of AJ Brown. And then the Steelers, the Steelers are on the clock, host town, right? He said, Islander FPV says on YouTube, if you're a fan of a team long enough for all the players and coaches to change, or are you just a fan of a logo? Interesting, but I would say you're more a fan of the legacy. You're a fan of the memories. You're a fan of the feelings, not the logo. How about that? But the Steelers get up. They're the host city. They take an offensive tackle. There was a lot of offensive tackles taken. The big boys were popping today. Max Ihanachor. And they sent Jerome Bettis out there to say it, and he just kind of ran off at the end of the. This guy's a good player, but Jerome Bettis didn't know how to say his name, and so he kind of just gave it the old Max Ihanachor. Arizona State tackle, and all I could think about was the fantasy football commercial. TJ, who's your mama? TJ Houshmanzilla, TJ Hoshmazo, championship. So Steelers are building a pretty freaking massive offensive line. So that's what they need. And then, like I said, the Chargers come up. Akeem Mesidor, he was a problem at Miami, and Khalil Mack's going to be there, and they're gonna with Minter leaving, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with Akeem Mesidor. So I'm sure he'll be playing pretty soon. Chargers got to be happy with that pick. Pick number 23 is the Dallas Cowboys again. They take Malachi Lawrence, edge player out of UCF, kind of a raw dude, rangy guy. So they went defense on their first two picks. That's the pick from Philly that they took. What was I going to write? I think I wrote down Caleb. Oh, yeah, Caleb Banks' party from the pick from Minnesota. That was awesome. It looked like his party was pretty cool. So yeah. Pick number 24, KC Concepcion to the Browns. Good pick here. I can't remember. In the Browns, hold on. The Browns they have Jerry Jeudy, Tylan Wallace. Oh, they've got what's his face? The tight end, Harold Fannin. That's what it is. Yes. So KC Concepcion, Harold Fannon's awesome, by the way. I love that guy. He's legit. Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, Isaiah Bond already in the receiver room. They add in Concepcion, who's kind of a smaller guy, but he was originally at NC State and then went to Texas A&M, but he's a bottle rocket. So the Browns have gotten a tackle and a wide receiver, trying to get some offense going to see if what Todd Monken can do with that. So, pick number 25. The Bears select the safety from Oregon, Dylan Thieneman. Hey, the white DBs are back, dude. The exciting whites or whatever people are saying about them. So we got the dude Miller Moss. We've got Cooper DeJean, Reed Blankenship. Harrison Smith just retired, so we get Thieneman. There you go. So he's going to fit right in there. They've got. They had a pretty good. I think they got Jaquan Brisker. They've got a really. Is it Jalen Johnson? So the Bears have already had a couple of good DBs there. So how about it? Um, then the Texans trade up to the 26th pick from the Bills. The Bills, here go the Bills again. This is what the Bills do. And the Texans take an offensive. Hey, there we go. Offensive lineman, Keelan Rutledge out of Georgia Tech, guard. Goodness gracious, we can't sit there and watch CJ Stroud get mutilated every drop back. So Texans move up, get their guy on the interior lineman. There's your trade. The Buffalo received, so the Texans from the Bills got the 26th pick and the 91st pick in the third. The Bills got the 28th, the 69th, nice, and the 167th, 6-7, and the fifth round. So the Bills are accumulating picks. And then the 49ers, the 49ers are supposed to pick 27th. They trade that pick to the Dolphins. Where was that? I just saw it right here. Yep. The Niners traded back at this point to 30, and Tex wouldn't shut his mouth about the Niners being out of the first round. And then the Dolphins took a defensive back out of San Diego State, cornerback Chris Johnson. So the Dolphins had taken Caden Proctor, the tackle, and then they took this defensive back. That's culture for that new head coach, the guy that came over from Green Bay. The Patriots trade, and this is another one. The Patriots trade up. I think they wanted that dude from Arizona State, the tackle. But they traded with the Bills. This is one of those another trades, division trades. Why the Bills would give the Patriots what they needed, which was a tackle. So, I mean, shout out Will Campbell on the hot seat, the Shambles meter, the Campbell's meter, Will Shambles, however you want to say it. The Patriots draft Caleb Lomo, the tackle from Utah. Lomu, sorry. And I just don't understand why the Bills would do that. That just makes no sense. And then the trade alert again, the Jets traded with the Niners to the 30th pick. And the Niners went out of the first round to the 33rd pick. So shout out us. And then the Chiefs are on the clock again. They take Peter Woods, defensive tackle. They're saying this is kind of an Aaron Donald type guy, just a freak. So the Chiefs get another piece there on their defense. They went defense twice. So they're telling you something. Well, they have to do that. They can't pay anybody else. The Jets take the 49ers pick that they just got after the Niners traded with the Dolphins. And they draft Omar Cooper, the dude who made that sick catch against Penn State for Indiana. He actually tweaked his knee at some point, or one of his legs. And I think I had to sit out the first or second round of the playoffs or miss some time. But Omar Cooper Jr., so the Jets made 3 picks. They took Kenyon Sadiq, offense. They took Omar Cooper Jr., receiver, and then they took David Bailey. So the Jets actually, I mean, they have no quarterback. They have Geno, so that's just a problem. So, and the Titans traded back in, I guess, with the Bills. The Bills traded back to 35. I don't have the details on that one. And the Titans come back in, and they get Keldrick Falk, defensive end out of Auburn. And I think the Titans' new logo and uniforms are stupid. They just copy the Dolphins, essentially. So good luck with that, Keldrick Falk. But that dude was emotional. Got to be cool to get drafted. I think there were only 2 or 3 players left in the room. So, and then the final pick of the there were 320,000 fans of day one of the draft. Shout out Pittsburgh. And then the final pick, Jadarian Price, the running back, the other running back from Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love, first running back, Jadarian Price, second running back taken from Notre Dame. The guy who announced his pick, he had beat cancer twice and beat brain tumors, and he came out to the stage and he was absolutely electric, dude. Like, give that guy a contract. True football guy. Love that guy. I could listen to that guy. He should announce the rest of the draft. Get Roger Goodell out of here. Who cares? Get that guy on the mic. Yeah, this dude right here. He was freaking and he's a Seahawks fan, and he was letting the crowd have it. Let it be known. And I don't blame him. So there you go. That is a quick synopsis of the first round of the draft. So the only thing left to do is to give grades. So what we're going to do now is pull up the grade sheet. I've made a grade sheet with all the picks. I think all the trades and everything are on there. I think I got it right. I almost messed up the Cowboys and the Dolphins, but we caught it. Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders, what's the grade they get? I would say that's a B plus. You know why it's a B plus? Because they brought in Kirk Cousins right before that. That tells us that they're still worried. They're not all in on Mendoza, right? And we said he didn't set up his picture with his family in offensive line format. Makes me pause concerned. David Bailey, I like this. A minus. Just because I don't trust the Jets. The player I like, I don't trust the Jets. Jeremiah Love, I don't know what I don't know what I don't know what they're doing in Arizona, but we'll give that a B. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's bad. I think they're on the right play. I don't think it's going to make a difference this year. I think they still. I mean, James Conner's there for crying out loud. So I don't. I mean, it's just they're not. Are they even going to use him right away? You know, are they going to try? Are they going to? You know what they're going to try to do? Who's the coach for the Cardinals? I forget. Oh, is the other Kubiak, wasn't it? Um, no, LaFleur. It was a LaFleur. There you go. Yeah, the LaFleurs are, and he came over from what, the Rams. Yeah, the Rams are they they they're always, the Blake Corum and the Kyron Williams, like they love he wants 17 running backs if he could do it. So Carnell Tate, I'm gonna give that a C plus just because the only reason I'm giving it a C plus is because Cam Ward. C for Cam Ward. That was a Cam Ward pick. Arvell Reese probably shocked the Giants that it fell to them. So we're gonna give that one an A. Mansour Delane for the Chiefs. Having thought about this, that's a B. Just because it's the Chiefs, I'm not going to give any credit. Sonny Styles, linebacker, B for that. Jordan Tyson, I'm a little worried about that. I'm a little worried about his hamstrings. I don't like his hamstrings. I'm going to give that a C for now. I know he's talented, but I'm worried about. They already have a receiver, Chris Olave, who can't stay in the lineup. So you draft another pro, for the Saints. I'm not saying Tyson, but for the Saints. Spencer Fano, he's a right tackle. Unless that might tell us that they're starting Dylan Gabriel. So I guess that's a B minus for them. I like the pick I think the A minus for Francis Mauigoa. I like that pick, A minus. I can't believe I'm about to do this, but I'm gonna give Caleb Downs pick an A. Caleb Downs is really good. Proctor, let's give that a C minus because prove it to us. Prove it. Ty Simpson, D. That is D minus if they even make those. What the hell are you doing, Rams? Vega Ione, that's an A plus. That is the epitome of a Ravens guy. Okay. Ruben Bain, Tampa Bain. You kidding me? To fall all the way to 15? I think that's a steal. Give me an A minus for that one. Kenyon Sadiq, A plus plus. Love that. Steal of the draft. Blake Miller. You know what? I'm going to ding you, Detroit. You know why? Because this guy doesn't know, but he's going to get screwed later by the Detroit franchise. Caleb Banks, C minus. We have no idea what that guy's doing. Monroe Freeling, like that pick, B plus for Bryce Young. Dallas or Makai Lemon, let's see. I'll give that a B plus. Let's give that a B plus because they fleeced. The Cowboys got fleeced, and the Eagle Howie Roseman at it again. Am I right? Max Ihanacor, that's a solid B. I like that. Akeem Mesidor, love that pick. Malachi Lawrence, don't like that pick. D, because I think they freaked out because thought they were going to get Akeem Mesidor, the Dallas Cowboys at 23. KC's Concepcion, B minus. I think he could be good. Dylan Thieneman for the Bears. Does it fill a void? I'm not sure. Dude's a player. Is he going to be more of a Cooper DeJean kind of nickel back? I don't know. Kind of what they're going to try to do. Let's see what I guess they're going to use him. A lot of weapons, a lot of wide receiver speed in the NFC North between the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions. So we'll give that a B. Oh shoot, I forgot to write in the the dude from uh Keelan Rutledge. Forgot about that. Keelan Rutledge. There we go. I forgot to write it in my chart there. It's a Keelan Rutledge guard. Keelan. Whoa. That's an A. You did exactly what you need to do. Your offensive line stinks, Houston. Chris Johnson, the cornerback from Miami from San Diego State. That really doesn't do anything. I think that's a B minus. People are going to be looking at this chart and be like, "What the hell is this guy grading on?" Caleb Lomo, fleeced the Bills. That's an A minus. Peter Woods, decent pick, B plus. Omar Cooper Jr. That's a good pick. I like Omar Cooper Jr. Keldrick Falk from the Titans. I think they panicked. They wanted to get up there and try to get somebody. That's a C plus for me. And then Jadarian Price. I think that's a reach. I think that's a reach. I don't like it. Oh, whoops. I want this cap. Oh, the font's small. I think that's a reach. I think that's a shocker. I think that's a C pick. I just think they were reaching there. Okay. I need to go to bed. There's your draft grades. Okay. Does everybody agree? Good. Everybody agrees. Okay. So the first round of the NFL draft, I thought it was great. I love sitting in my recliner and watching the draft and talking to my dad and talking to all the boys and being like, can you believe what they just did? And now I've created a draft grade. I love this. I'm going to screenshot this, put it out on social media. It's going to be incredible. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for. I'm going to bed. I'm tired. But you know what? I love doing this. People probably think I'm nuts, and I don't care because I love watching football and I love talking about football. So, if you enjoyed the show, if you made it this far, come and follow us on all the social medias. We put out stuff every single day, and we do shows 2 to 3 times a week, and we talk about all the sports. We're in the middle of playoffs. We do all that stuff. So follow us here on all the social medias on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And I haven't put Facebook on there yet, but I guess I need to. Twitch and YouTube, all that place. Anywhere you sign up for your podcast too, your Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Good Pods, Amazon, we're everywhere. So we'd appreciate a review and a follow and a rating. So let's talk more ball. Let's talk more sports. We need more sports in our lives. Everybody, have a great Friday. And everybody, enjoy the draft. Enjoy the playoffs. Make your own draft grade sheet if you want to. Do it. I challenge you. See you later.